You think the Wild West was all about quick draws and saloon shootouts? Think again. Behind those swinging doors, inventors were cooking up some of the most bizarre, dangerous, and downright ridiculous contraptions you've ever seen. And today, we're counting down 25 inventions that crashed harder than a runaway stagecoach. From explosive toilets to steam-powered horses, these failures will blow your mind. So saddle up, because this is about to get wild. The 1800s were a time of rapid innovation. While the East Coast was building factories, the American frontier was a lawless laboratory where desperate inventors tried anything to strike it rich. But for every Colt revolver that changed history, there were dozens of catastrophic failures that nearly killed their creators. These are their stories. Number 1. The Wind Wagon. Let's kick things off with one of the most ambitious disasters in frontier history, the Wind Wagon. Picture this. It's 1,860, and a presenter named Samuel Peppard decides that crossing the Great Plains by horse is too slow. His solution? A massive prairie schooner fitted with actual ship sails. Yes, a land sailboat. The first test run in Westport, Kansas, drew huge crowds. The wagon caught wind, started rolling, and actually worked until it hit a gust. The 15-foot-tall sails couldn't be controlled. The wagon spun like a top, crashed into a ditch, and launched Peppard and his passengers 30 feet through the air. Miraculously, everyone survived, but the Wind Wagon was destroyed. The dream of sailing across Kansas died that day, and honestly, we're probably better off for it. Number 2. The Steam Man. In 1868, a Newark inventor named Zadok Dederick created something straight out of a steampunk nightmare. A 7-foot-tall mechanical man powered by a coal-fired boiler. This metal giant was supposed to pull carts and replace horses. The Steam Man had articulated legs, could supposedly walk at 5 miles per hour, and looked absolutely terrifying. The problem? Everything. The boiler overheated constantly. The legs seized up, and the whole contraption weighed nearly half a ton. During its public demonstration, the Steam Man took 3 steps, belched black smoke, and collapsed into a heap of twisted metal. The crowd that came expecting a miracle got a very expensive pile of scrap iron. Dederick never built another one. Number 3. The Bicycle Railroad. Here's a head-scratcher. The Bicycle Railroad. An inventor thought, why build expensive trains when you could just put a bicycle on rails? The Velocipede Railway featured a bicycle modified to ride on railroad tracks, complete with a sail for extra speed. The prototype launched in 1,869 inches, California. The rider pedaled furiously. The sail caught wind, and for about 30 glorious seconds, it looked like genius. Then the front wheel hit a rock on the track. The entire contraption derailed at 15 miles per hour, sending the rider tumbling down an embankment. He broke 3 ribs and his collarbone. The Bicycle Railroad never carried a second passenger. Number 4. The Portable Bathtub Coffin. This one is dark, folks. A traveling salesman in the 1870s patented a combination bathtub coffin. His pitch? Use it as a bathtub while you're alive. Then when you die, you're already in your coffin. He thought pioneers would love the space-saving efficiency. Turns out, nobody wanted to bathe in their future coffin. The psychological factor aside, the thing was made of cheap zinc that rusted immediately. One buyer in Arizona reported that his bath fin, as he called it, sprung a leak during his first bath and flooded his cabin. The inventor tried to rebrand it as just a coffin, but people found that even creepier. The company folded within a year. Number 5. The Electric Anti-Hangover Hat. Saloon culture in the Wild West created a massive market for hangover cures. Enter the Electric Anti-Hangover Hat, invented in 1885. This leather hat had copper wires woven throughout and a small battery pack. The idea? Electric currents through your scalp would stimulate the blood and cure your whiskey headache. The reality? It did absolutely nothing except occasionally shock the wearer. One testimonial from a Montana newspaper reported that the hat cured my headache by knocking me unconscious for 6 hours. Another user claimed it made his hair fall out. The company was sued 17 times before going bankrupt. If you see one of these in a museum, don't put it on. Number 6. The Rocking Chair Fan. Before air conditioning, summers in places like Texas and Arizona were brutal. An inventor in 1869 created a rocking chair that powered a ceiling fan, rock back and forth, and you'd create your own breeze. Genius, right? Wrong. The mechanism required such vigorous rocking that users got more exhausted than they would have just using a hand fan. One woman in El Paso rocked so hard the chair broke, sending the fan blades flying across the room. One blade embedded itself 2 inches into a wooden beam. The rocking chair fan was deemed more dangerous than the heat, and production stopped immediately. Number 7. The train stopping device. Train robberies were a huge problem in the 1870s and 1880s. A well-meaning inventor created a portable device that could be thrown onto railroad tracks to stop trains during emergencies. It used spring-loaded spikes that would puncture wheels and trigger the brakes. During the first demonstration for investors, the device worked perfectly, too perfectly. The train stopped so suddenly that every passenger was thrown forward. 7 people were injured, including a woman who broke her arm. The railroad companies immediately banned the device. When you think about it, a train-stopping device that works really well is basically just a guaranteed way to cause a train wreck. Number 8. The Murphy bed trap. The Murphy bed, the bed that folds into the wall, was actually invented in the late 1800s. But before the safe version we know today, there were dozens of failed prototypes. The worst was the automatic Murphy bed that would fold up at the slightest touch. Imagine you're sleeping, you roll over, and bam, you're folded into the wall. That's exactly what happened to a rancher in Wyoming. He was found the next morning, stuck in his wall, screaming for help. He'd been trapped for 6 hours. The automatic locking mechanism failed constantly, and several people nearly suffocated. The safe Murphy bed didn't arrive until all the dangerous features were removed. Number 9. The combination plow gun. Here's where Western paranoia meets farm equipment. A blacksmith in Kansas invented a plow with a shotgun barrel built into the blade. The idea? Plow your field and protect yourself from bandits at the same time. The execution? A disaster. The gun had no safety and would fire randomly when the plow hit rocks. One farmer shot his own ox. Another accidentally fired at his barn, starting a fire that burned down his entire farm. The combination plow gun injured more farmers than it ever protected. It was banned in 3 territories before the inventor gave up and went back to making regular plows. Number 10. The mechanical prospector. During the gold rush era, an inventor built a steam-powered machine that could supposedly detect gold underground. This massive contraption used magnetic resonance and cost a fortune. Desperate prospectors pooled their money to buy one. The machine detected gold everywhere, and by everywhere, I mean it beeped constantly for rocks, dirt, iron deposits, and apparently one time, a buried horseshoe. Not a single ounce of actual gold was found using this device. The inventors skipped town with the money, and the prospectors were left with a 2-ton paperweight that took a week to dismantle. Dozens of these machines were abandoned across California, rusting monuments to failed dreams. Number 11. The lightning-powered mill. In 1871, a miller in Colorado had a brilliant idea. Why use water or wind power when you could harness lightning? He built a massive lightning rod system connected to grinding stones, waiting for storms to power his mill. The first storm rolled in, lightning struck, and the entire mill exploded. The electrical discharge was so powerful, it vaporized the grinding stones and set the building on fire. The miller survived, but lost his eyebrows, his hearing in one ear, and his entire business. When asked if he'd try again, he reportedly said, "I've learned my lesson. Some forces of nature are best left alone." Wise words. Number 12. The cowboy umbrella hat. The sun in the Old West was merciless. Someone invented an umbrella that attached to a cowboy hat. Sounds reasonable, until you realize that any wind turned cowboys into human kites. The contraption caught wind constantly. Cowboys were lifted off their horses. One rancher in New Mexico was reportedly carried 50 yards by a dust devil while wearing one of these. The umbrella hat hybrid was torn off so many heads that a shop owner in Santa Fe had a collection of 30 abandoned ones. The failure wasn't that it didn't work. The failure was that it worked too well. Number 13. The automatic poker dealer. Gambling was serious business in frontier saloons. A tinker created a machine that would automatically deal cards for poker, eliminating dealer cheating. The machine was intricate, beautiful, and completely broken. It dealt cards randomly to random positions. Sometimes it dealt 30 cards in a row to one player. Sometimes it just jammed and scattered cards everywhere. During one game in Tombstone, the machine caught fire from friction in its gears. The saloon barely escaped burning down. Gamblers decided they'd rather risk crooked dealers than trust a card-dealing machine that could spontaneously combust. Number 14. The burglar alarm bed. Theft was rampant in frontier hotels. An inventor created a bed that would sound an alarm if someone tried to rob you while you slept. The mechanism used tripwires connected to the bed frame. Every single movement triggered the alarm. Roll over? Alarm. Breathe heavily? Alarm. One hotel in Dodge City installed 20 of these beds. On the first night, the alarms went off 236 times. Guests got no sleep. Fights broke out. The beds were removed the next morning. The inventor claimed the guests were using them wrong, which is peak 1800s customer service. Number 15. The portable saloon. An entrepreneur invented a collapsible saloon that could be packed onto a wagon and set up in minutes. Canvas walls, a folding bar, even a tiny piano. It was meant for mining camps and temporary settlements. The first portable saloon was set up outside a gold mine in California. A strong wind came through, and the entire saloon, with 12 customers inside, rolled down a hill. The canvas tore, the bar collapsed, and bottles shattered everywhere. Everyone survived, covered in whiskey and shame. The portable saloon concept was abandoned, though historians note that at least one customer tried to drink the whiskey off the ground. Number 16. The rattlesnake vaccine. This one is equal parts medicine and madness. A doctor claimed he'd created a vaccine against rattlesnake venom. His secret ingredient? Rattlesnake venom. He literally just diluted snake venom and told people to inject it. To prove it worked, he let a rattlesnake bite him. He'd taken his vaccine beforehand. He immediately became violently ill, nearly died, and spent 3 weeks recovering. When people pointed out that his vaccine obviously didn't work, he claimed he'd used the wrong dose. He sold about 50 doses before his medical license was revoked. Miraculously, nobody died from his vaccine, though several people got very sick. Number 17. The cactus cloth. Texas entrepreneurs tried to create fabric from cactus fibers. On paper, it made sense. Cacti were everywhere, and cotton was expensive. They created a cloth they called desert linen. The cloth was scratchy, absorbed no moisture, and fell apart when wet. Wearing cactus cloth was reportedly like wearing sandpaper. One woman's dress disintegrated during a rainstorm, which must have been a very awkward ride home. The company tried marketing it as sturdy work clothes, but even cowboys, who wore leather chaps in 100-degree heat, refused to touch it. The warehouse full of cactus cloth eventually burned down, and nobody bothered to rebuild. Number 18. The horse-powered butter churn. Churning butter by hand was exhausting work. Some genius decided to attach a butter churn to a horse on a treadmill. The horse would walk, powering the churn automatically. Horses, it turns out, hate walking in place for hours. The animals would stop constantly, kick the machinery, and generally refuse to cooperate. One butter-churning horse in Iowa destroyed 3 churns in 1 week. Another kicked so hard, it broke the treadmill and injured its owner. Farmers quickly realized that paying a kid to churn butter was cheaper than repairing broken machinery and treating injured horses. Number 19. The musical spurs. A saddle maker created spurs that played musical notes when you walked. Different spurs played different pitches, so theoretically, cowboys could play music while walking. In practice, cowboys sounded like broken music boxes stumbling around. The noise spooked horses constantly. One demonstration ended with the horse bucking its rider into a water trough. The musical spurs also gave away cowboys' positions, which was terrible for both hunting and sneaking up on outlaws. The inventor eventually melted them down and made regular spurs, though one set reportedly survives in a museum, still capable of playing off-key versions of Oh, Susanna. Number 20. The solar-powered oven. An inventor in Arizona created a box covered in mirrors to cook food using only sunlight. The concept was actually sound, but the execution was catastrophic. The mirrors were so effective they could blind people from 50 feet away. Reflected sunlight set nearby grass on fire multiple times. One user aimed the mirrors wrong and melted the siding off his house. The solar oven did cook food, but it also caused so many accidental fires that it was banned in 3 towns. The inventor eventually moved to Seattle, where the lack of reliable sunlight meant his dangerous invention was useless anyway. Number 21. The foot-powered washing machine. Doing laundry in the Wild West meant hours of scrubbing by hand. An inventor created a washing machine powered by foot pedals, like a bicycle. Pump the pedals, agitate the clothes, done. The machine required such intense pedaling that people's legs gave out. One woman pedaled so hard she tipped the entire machine over, flooding her kitchen with soapy water. The mechanism broke constantly. Parts rusted immediately because, obviously, it was constantly wet. The foot-powered washing machine was heavier and more exhausting than just washing by hand. Within 2 years, every single one had been abandoned or converted into planters. Number 22. The automatic rifle trigger mechanism. A gunsmith invented a device that would make any rifle fire automatically when pointed at a target. It used a weight-sensitive trigger that would fire when the gun was level and steady. The mechanism had no safety and would fire unexpectedly. One sheriff in New Mexico reported that the gun fired while he was carrying it, shooting a hole through his holster in his boot. Miraculously, he wasn't injured, but he immediately destroyed the device. Multiple accidental discharges led to 3 injuries before the invention was declared illegal. The gunsmith was fined and barred from selling his improvements ever again. Number 23. The pocket telegraph. During the telegraph boom, an inventor miniaturized the technology into a pocket-sized device. Users could supposedly send telegrams from anywhere without visiting a telegraph office. The pocket telegraph required 2 people to both have the device, needed perfect weather conditions, and had a maximum range of about 50 feet. At that point, you could just yell. It also required frequent battery changes using expensive components. One buyer calculated that sending messages via pocket telegraph cost 3 times more than just riding to town and using the regular telegraph. The company sold exactly 37 units before folding. Number 24. The heated saddle. Winter riding in the frontier was miserable. An inventor created a saddle with a small coal-burning chamber to keep riders warm. The first heated saddle caught the horse's tail on fire. The second one burned through the saddle itself and injured the rider. The third one worked but filled the air with so much smoke that the rider couldn't see and rode straight into a fence. The heated saddle was banned by every rodeo and ranch that heard about it. One surviving prototype is displayed in a Wyoming museum with a sign that reads, "Do not touch, fire hazard." Number 25. The perpetual motion water pump. Let's end with perhaps the most ambitious failure of all. An inventor claimed he'd created a water pump that ran forever without any power source, violating the laws of physics themselves. He demonstrated his perpetual motion pump to investors, and it ran for 6 hours straight. Money poured in. Then someone noticed a hidden water reservoir that was powering the pump the whole time. The perpetual motion was just a regular pump with a very sneaky power source. The inventor was run out of town, and investors lost thousands. The pump was dismantled, but the scandal became legendary as a warning about too good to be true inventions. There you have it. 25 Wild West inventions that crashed, burned, exploded, or just plain embarrassed their creators. The frontier was a place where anyone could try to make their fortune with the next great invention, but as we've seen, most great ideas were actually terrible ideas in disguise. These failures teach us something important, though. Innovation requires risk. Every successful invention stands on the shoulders of 100 failures. For every Colt revolver that changed the world, there was a combination plow gun that shot somebody's ox. Progress isn't clean. It's messy, dangerous, and sometimes absolutely ridiculous. So the next time you use modern technology, remember the steam-powered mechanical men, the wind wagons, and the explosive heated saddles that paved the way. They failed so future inventors could succeed. If you enjoyed this wild ride through history's worst inventions, smash that like button and subscribe for more insane stories from the past. What other crazy historical failures should we cover next? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. Thanks for watching. And remember, just because you can invent something doesn't mean you should.